You're a stickler for printing.
I am.
And
I am.
I'm not as much.
No. You should see this. That's bad.
It's not bad. Like,
it's not. Okay, who stands like this all day long?
The table's helping.
oh,
Yeah.
yeah, well.
But nobody stands like this all day long.
What? I stand just like this. Welcome back, everybody. Clint today with Classic Firearms. We've got a special guest with us today, Sarah, aka the Peace of Mind, and that's peace like a piece, not
Yes.
like, you know, peace. Sarah, so good to have you here.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, well, thanks for joining us. And we met at the Gundies last year,
Yes.
which is really cool, especially when Ryan's wife, Nicole, shout out to Nicole,
Shout out, Nicole.
whenever she said she was a fan, and she was like, hey, the Peace of Mind is going to be at the Gundies, so if you see her, you should totally like give her a high five or something like that. And which is exactly what we did. And then this past year, we were like, hey, we really like what you do on your Instagram page, because if you guys don't know or you don't follow the Peace of Mind, aka
Underscore.
Sarah. Oh, there. Give it. Just give it. Just.
It's the Peace of Mind, PIECE underscore.
Okay, there it is.
Yeah, that was really choppy, but it's fine. You'll get it. It's fine.
But what we really appreciate what you do over there, because you're ultimately showing different concealed carry solutions, guns, and holsters for women in different style too.
I try.
Which is really cool, because we try to open up our demographic here, because how many semi-bearded white guys are on the internet? Yeah. So it's really cool to get different perspectives like that. And so we're going to kick it off today with some of your preferred carry guns.
Yep.
We've got the Hellcat and Hellcat Pro. And right off the bat, which one do you prefer?
Concealment-wise, Hellcat definitely. This one makes for concealment a lot easier for women. The Hellcat Pro, a lot easier to shoot though. So definitely recommend the Hellcat Pro over the Hellcat, but for concealment, definitely the Hellcat.
Because you're a stickler for printing.
I am.
And
I am.
I'm not as much.
No. You should see this. That's bad.
It's not bad. Like,
it's not. Okay, who stands like this all day long?
The table's helping.
oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, well.
But nobody stands like this all day long.
What? I stand just like this. Right? I'll put my hands in my pocket. There you go.
Like an NPC.
Look, I don't see the big deal here, but I get where you're coming from.
Yeah.
Because when I first started to carry concealed here in North Carolina, I was so paranoid about, oh my God, somebody's going to know I have a gun on me. It's going to cause a thing and be like this and be like that. And we have open carry in this state, which, again, I'm not a huge proponent of. I believe it definitely should be a legal thing. If that's what you want to do, go for it. But I like the idea of not displaying that, hey, I've got a gat on me. You know what I mean? And so where you come from, it makes sense where this isn't happening as much. And with the smaller grip of the standard Hellcat, or even the 365 instead of the 365 macro, you'll notice that, well, it just doesn't print as much. You don't have this happening.
Yeah. Well, I'm in Northern Virginia, so as you can imagine, being that close to DC, gun laws, we're okay on them, but it's not loved by everyone, depending on where you go. So printing for me was a big deal, and I definitely want it to be no printing whatsoever. I don't even want you to think I have it on me, which is what I do a lot of my Instagram on, is different outfits that make you kind of look like you're not carrying a gun. Right. So printing is a big deal for me. So the Hellcat Pro is a little bit harder for me. It's not impossible if I didn't care so much. But I definitely prefer the Hellcat, just for the sheer fact that the grip is a little bit shorter and it makes it a little bit easier. So
the reason why I really like the Pro, the macro, things like that, is because, for one, the ergonomics and the comfortability of getting that full-size grip.
Yes.
That is really, really nice.
But for little hands, well, my hands aren't really that little.
I was going to say, they're like a normal hand.
Yeah.
But
also, this is an extended mag. So.
That is the extended mag. You typically like the flush.
I do, because it's obviously easier to conceal on. Yeah. So my pinky little hangs off a little bit.
So you got a little pinky overhang.
Yeah.
Yep. So I like the capacity. I like the grip, because on the macro, 17 rounds.
Yeah.
On the Pro, and we can go ahead and we'll compare a couple of other guns and go to the range and shoot these here in just a moment too. Pro, I can still get a full-size grip. Again, I don't have monster mitts or anything like that, but we've got a 15-round capacity here, 17 with the macro. And just to show you guys off really quick, you'll notice the width is is only about an inch or so, I think they are, and they are very, very similar. Both are cut for optics, by the way. If we take a look here, you'll notice that the grip itself isn't much longer on the macro than it is the actual Hellcat Pro, but the base plate itself is a little bit longer. I guess
was this a personal preference thing for the longer base plate, or did it come like that?
It came this way.
Oh, okay.
Yep. So that's the way this one came. Of course, I've got the TLR7 by Streamlight on this as well. But yeah, you'll notice very, very similar, even in barrel lengths and stuff like that. So even still, never mind me dropping the guns. And also, I mean, this actually fits my Alpha Omega Kydex holster pretty well too, because they are just so similar.
Yeah.
But anyway, and then the one that you prefer to carry has a 11 round capacity.
11 round. Yep.
A little bit shorter, also cut for a red dot. How do you like the iron sights on these?
Not a huge fan.
Yeah.
They are a little bit difficult to get used to. They are a U sight. Is that what they call it?
Yeah, I call it like a little teacup.
Yeah, they're different. They're not hard. They're not super hard to shoot, but they are different. I definitely prefer the 3 dots.
Yeah.
If it's the most layman terms.
I mean, I think so. Just a regular old 3-dot sight, because I think that's a lot of like kind of probably what we grew up on, stuff like that too, you know. And of course,
it's also what they teach you too when you do your concealed carry classes
so
or
it's
your
like,
yeah.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know,
height, equal light.
That's it. Equal height, equal light on the sides. Look at you go.
Look at me go.
But I don't like hate them, but again, I'm not the biggest fan of that. But I can say though that really large, or I guess you could say that luminescent front sight that the Hellcat Pro has on it does pick up very, very well.
Don't quote me on this. Are they night sights?
This one is.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because you can see that little bit of a reflection that both the Hellcat and the Hellcat Pro.
Okay.
Yep. And then if we compare that to like the 365 macro, these are definitely night sights. Again, the larger front sight, which for a concealed carry pistol makes sense. You want that front sight to pick up nice and quick, so that way you can get your shot on target as fast as you need to.
Yeah.
But other than that, we've also got different holster configurations we can talk about. All in all. And I mentioned a little bit ago too, like, you know, growing up, I always was taught like on the 3-dot sights and all that stuff. Have you always been into shooting and into carrying and stuff like that? Or is this something that was a little bit newer to you?
Oh, this was super new to me. So I've only been doing this for like, I would say, 2 years at this point? And it was basically a whim thing. I decided I didn't want to be afraid of them. So we were gonna get a self-defense pistol for our house. And I was like, you know, if it's gonna be in my house, I need to know how to pick it up and move it and use it if I need to, God forbid. So I decided one day I was gonna figure it out. So my husband took me to the range and he taught me, and then I fell in love with it. And then basically randomly started doing stuff on social media with like concealed carry, and absolutely fell in love with teaching, like learning obviously on my own about how to conceal and conceal properly. But it was a big thing that there was no women on, there was like barely any when I first started, and that was only 2 years ago.
Right.
So when I saw that there was no women, there was like maybe 1 or 2 people that I had to go off of. So when I got my stuff in, I was like, you know, I'm gonna show this online, see what happens. And it blew up, and then slowly but surely it became a passion I never knew I needed to help people learn how to conceal carry and act like they're not.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So I mean, good on you too, and I think this is also something really cool that a lot of our audience could share, I guess you could say, is, you know, don't be ignorant about something, right? Because you can fix ignorance. And you said you wanted to learn, and your husband took you to the range.
And I'm still learning.
Dude, I feel you. Believe me, my shot placement will show you that. But at the end of the day, it's really good on you, though, for going out there and doing a little bit of trial and error. You found what works, what doesn't work, what you like to shoot, what you don't like to shoot, what you like to carry over what you like to, you know, so that's really cool. And in fact, we actually got a bunch of other guns we're going to bring to the table just to show you how the Hellcat and Hellcat Pro that Sarah likes compare to some of the more popular firearms on the market. So let's grab those. So now we've got an assortment of pistols laid out here, starting with the SIG 365 XL. We've got the Glock 43X. Of course, we've got the Hellcat Pro and the Hellcat that you guys have already seen quite a bit of, and that we'll be taking to the range here shortly. Smith & Wesson M&P9 Shield Plus. We've got the, which one is that? SIG 365, the basic. Thanks for confirming that. The Glock 43. And then we've got the SIG 365 macro. Again, that's the full-size boy that you've pretty much been seeing. I don't want to say full-size, but the full-size grip with the 17-round capacity. And then the pretty Shadow Systems CR920. So the reason we brought these out, we're not taking all these to the range, just the Hellcat and Hellcat Pro to get you guys a little bit of a feel of that and how something like a larger grip and slightly larger barrel can actually have an impact on felt recoil and all, and perhaps even quicker follow-up shot placement stuff. We'll find out shortly. But we also kind of want to take some of the more popular guns that are out there and see how they compare. For instance, you've got your 11 rounds of the Springfield Hellcat, and then you've got how many? Six rounds in the Glock 43, but very comparable in size. Yeah. So I'll be honest, I think I'd probably prefer the Hellcat just for capacity in that sense.
Yeah,
right?
The Glock 43 was my first carry gun, and then I immediately switched over to the Hellcat once I realized the mag capacity was lacking. So
we can compare that even to the 365. Again, this one's about a 10 round. There we go. So a 10 round. Again, you'll notice really compact guys. It is compact.
It's similar.
It is very similar.
It's almost identical, actually.
Yeah, it's just it feels so much smaller, I guess, than the Hellcat. I don't know if that's just a grip.
Skinnier.
Yeah, just a little bit skinnier. Again, that's just how ultimately it feels. Same thing with the Pro there. The Pro and obviously the SIG Macro are very comparable. Yeah. The 43X now only has, what, 8?
10.
10, it does
and
have
15.
10. Yeah, you definitely know more about that world because that's what you carry.
Yeah.
So there we go. So 10,
10.
And then the 15 that you said, obviously a little bit skinnier grip because it's not a double stack. They're not staggered in there. This is just a single stack design, though there are other manufacturers out there that try and fix that capacity issue or limitation. The 365 XL also coming in with a 10 round, 12 round, son of a 12 round mag. There we go. And then how that compares to the 15 rounds of the Pro. Obviously, I really like the grip better on the actual Hellcat Pro than I do the 365 and 365 XL. But again, what you're talking about for concealed carry, might be a little bit better.
But you're not gonna. I would rather you get something that you're comfortable with and that fits well in your hand that you're gonna actually use and shoot, rather than something that you think is nicer because it's smaller.
Yeah.
Because clearly the smaller guns are a little bit snappier. So if you're gonna actually use or shoot and practice on something that's larger, then figure out the concealment with that.
Right.
And I tell everyone, get one of these in your hand before you buy it, and then figure it out from there.
Right, because when we did our video comparing the Hellcat to like the SIG 365, I remember saying I like the Hellcat how it feels naturally in my hand.
Yeah. No, it's super comfortable.
Yeah, but preferred how the 365 shot. In fact, there's also a new one on the market. Yeah, new one on the market, the Canik Mate MC9, which we'll take out to the range just to kind of show really quick too.
So bad.
Exactly. But yeah, with that being said, let's go ahead and head out to the range. Let's compare these two guys and the little Canik guy and perhaps my concealed carry, which is it still?
Yeah, it's
okay.
there. Oh,
anyway,
it's there.
We'll leave it off there. Let's head on over to the range. Just a couple. Sorry, I started shooting it, I started making contact, and I was happy with it, all right? So the Hellcat actually feels pretty good. It is a little snappy, but I like it. Here, you know what? I got another one of those. Look, I'll give you the extendo, all right?
Nice.
There you go. Even though I know you're not like, a big fan of them, printing and stuff. But have at it. Just have some fun. So, done that a time or two, yeah?
Maybe once.
Maybe once? So, are your thoughts pretty similar to mine with the compact being a little snappy?
It is, yeah. With the extended grip on this magazine, though, it's a little bit easier to hold on to. But small guns tend to be a little bit snappy. You just kind of have to get used to it.
Right, but with that extendo, too, you do have that, again, like you're talking about, full-size grip, 15 rounds?
15 rounds,
So
yeah.
15 plus 1 in the chamber if that's what you want to do. Similar to the Hellcat Pro, without any extension, we do have 15 rounds in the magazine, which is great. Plus 1 in the chamber gives you a total of 16. It's a little bit longer in the slide and barrel and also in the grip. So let's go ahead and shoot a couple rounds with it, see how it compares, and of course give our final thoughts. So. All right, before I get too carried away, I'll let you finish that off.
Thank you.
Have at it. Good center mass shot on that last one. I saw that light
you.
up right there.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. So, okay, I really actually do like the way the Pro shoots a lot. You wouldn't think with there being such a minuscule difference that there would be such a difference in felt recoil, but you and I think are gonna agree. We may like to shoot that one more, but for concealed carry, this one's probably gonna be more of that better option, better solution for you.
Yeah, definitely.
So there you have it, guys. We've got Sarah again, the peace of mind with the Hellcat and Hellcat Pro out here, and you're going to see her in a couple of other videos as well. We're going to be covering some other concealed carry options out there and have some fun with it. So let us know what you guys think down below in the comment section. Do you carry the Hellcat Pro? Is that one of your go-tos, or are there different ones out there? What configuration do you run? A red dot? What type of light if you choose to do so? Let us know, and as always, we appreciate you in your business. God bless, and Sarah, it's always good to see you.
Thanks. Bye, guys.